There comes a moment in life when you realize that the noise around you has grown louder than the voice within you. When expectations, opinions, disappointments, and comparisons begin to blur your vision so much that you start questioning who you are and where you are going. It usually happens quietly, not with a dramatic collapse, but with a slow erosion of belief, a gradual wearing down of confidence, a creeping sense that maybe you are behind, maybe you missed your chance, maybe the dream you once held so tightly has slipped too far out of reach. You wake up, go through the motions, smile when required, function when necessary, but deep inside you feel disconnected from the fire you once had, the certainty you once carried, the hunger that once pushed you forward without hesitation. And the dangerous part is not the struggle itself, because struggle is inevitable, but the moment you start believing that the struggle defines you, that the difficulty is proof of your limitations rather than evidence of your growth. What most people never tell you is that feeling lost is often the clearest sign that you are standing at the edge of transformation. When everything feels uncomfortable, when certainty disappears, when the path ahead looks unclear, it is usually because the old version of you can no longer carry the future you are meant to step into. Growth demands discomfort, and expansion requires pressure, and yet we live in a world that teaches us to avoid pain at all costs, to chase comfort, to seek validation, to settle into routines that feel safe, even when they slowly suffocate our potential. You were not designed to live on autopilot, repeating days that drain you while calling it stability. You were designed to build, to rise, to evolve, to stretch beyond what feels familiar and walk into spaces that demand more from you than you have ever given before. Think about how many times you have doubted yourself not because you lacked ability, but because you lacked evidence. You looked around and saw others succeeding faster, louder, more visibly, and you assumed that their progress meant your failure. You compared your behind-the-scenes struggles to their highlight reels and convinced yourself that you were falling behind, when in reality you were simply on a different path with a different pace and a different purpose. Comparison is one of the quietest thieves of destiny, because it does not attack your skills directly, it attacks your belief. And once belief is weakened, effort soon follows. The truth is, your journey was never meant to look like anyone else's. And the moment you stop measuring your progress against someone else's timeline is the moment you regain your power. There will be seasons in your life when effort feels invisible, when you are putting in the work and nothing seems to change, when doors remain closed no matter how many times you knock, and when silence answers your prayers. These seasons are not punishment, and they are not proof that you are doing something wrong. They are periods of preparation, times when character is built quietly, when resilience is developed without applause, when discipline is forged without recognition. Most people quit during these seasons because they mistake stillness for failure and difficulty for defeat. But those who endure understand that roots grow underground long before anything breaks the surface. You cannot rush strength, and you cannot shortcut growth without paying the price later. Understand this clearly. Motivation will not always be there to carry you forward. There will be days when you feel inspired and unstoppable, but there will be many more days when doubt creeps in, when fatigue weighs heavy, when quitting seems logical and rest feels justified. What carries you through those days is not motivation, but discipline. The quiet decision to show up even when emotions resist. The commitment to act even when results lag behind effort. Discipline is what transforms intention into reality, what turns dreams into habits and habits into outcomes. If you wait to feel ready, confident, or certain before you act, you will spend your life waiting while opportunities pass you by. You have survived things you once thought would break you, moments when you felt like you could not go on, times when giving up seemed like the only relief available. And yet you are here, still standing, still searching, still willing to try again. That resilience did not appear by accident. It was built through adversity, strengthened through disappointment, sharpened through loss. Every challenge you faced added a layer of depth to your character, even when you could not see it at the time. Pain has a way of refining us if we allow it, of teaching lessons that comfort never could, of revealing strengths we did not know we possessed. There will be people who doubt you, not because they see your limits, but because they see your potential and it threatens their comfort. There will be voices that tell you to be realistic, to settle, to stop dreaming so loudly, to accept less because it seems safer. Those voices are not indicators of truth. They are reflections of fear, often their own, sometimes projected onto you. Do not shrink your vision to fit someone else's expectations. History is filled with people who were told they were unrealistic until their results made belief unavoidable. Your responsibility is not to convince others, but to remain committed to your path even when no one else understands it. Success is rarely sudden, and transformation is almost never convenient. It demands sacrifice, consistency, and patience, qualities that are difficult to maintain in a world obsessed with instant gratification. You will have to choose long-term fulfillment over short-term comfort, purpose over pleasure, discipline over distraction. You will have to learn how to sit with discomfort without letting it dictate your decisions, how to move forward even when fear whispers reasons to stop. Fear does not mean you are incapable. It means you are standing at the edge of growth. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to act in spite of it. At some point, you must stop asking for permission to become who you are meant to be. Stop waiting for validation, approval, or perfect conditions. Life does not reward those who wait until everything feels safe. It responds to those who move with intention, even in uncertainty. You are allowed to outgrow versions of yourself that no longer serve you, allowed to change direction, allowed to want more without feeling guilty for it. Growth will cost you comfort, relationships, and sometimes identities you once held tightly, but the cost of staying the same is far greater. Remember that progress is not always loud. Sometimes it looks like choosing discipline over distraction, choosing consistency over excuses, choosing effort over ease. Sometimes it looks like getting up again after failing, like continuing even when no one notices, like believing in yourself on days when belief feels fragile. These small, repeated choices compound over time, shaping a future that once felt impossible. Greatness is rarely built in moments of recognition. It is constructed quietly through repeated acts of commitment. You are not behind, and you are not broken. You are in process. The version of you that doubts today is not the version of you that will stand confidently tomorrow, but it is a necessary part of the journey. Trust the process even when it feels slow. Trust yourself even when results lag behind effort. Trust that the work you are doing now is laying the foundation for something greater than you can currently see. Every step forward, no matter how small, is still movement, and movement creates momentum. One day, the struggle that feels overwhelming now will become the story that inspires someone else. One day, the uncertainty you are navigating will make sense in hindsight, and the patience you were forced to develop will become one of your greatest strengths. Until that day comes, keep showing up, keep learning, keep building, and keep believing that your best chapters are not behind you, but ahead of you. The world does not need another copy or another spectator. It needs people who are willing to commit fully to becoming who they were meant to be. This is not the end of your story. This is not the moment you give up. This is the moment you decide to rise, not because it is easy, but because staying where you are is no longer an option. Keep going, keep growing, and trust that the fire you feel inside you exists for a reason.